Hey man, how's it going?
Oh, not too bad. Went out for lunch with you earlier today. Had fun.
Yeah, it was a good time. Yeah, I had all the
It's
fun
just been a long
times.
time since I've seen you, man, in person. It was really good to see you.
Yeah, no, it was nice hanging out with you as well. It was nice to go to the old mall and all that stuff. Nice day today as well, so it was all
Yeah,
fun.
not too
Yeah,
hot. I mean, for
yeah.
for regular mortals, it was nice. For me, Mister Needs
Little
to be
hot. Yeah,
cold. Yeah, a little hot. But
yeah,
I was in shorts and a t-shirt. I was very happy.
sure. And yeah, speaking of heat, I guess. So welcome back everybody to Bite My Shiny Metal Cast, episode 16 of season 5. The Devil's Hands are idle playthings.
And our personal, what episode
One of
is
our
it?
favorites.
72.
72 for
72
our
for our podcast.
Yeah, 72 of the episodes, but yeah, the 73rd, I guess, because the first episode was episode 0 or something, right? Way back,
Mm,
we were just looking at
that was the
this, right? It was like,
introduction.
yes, when we first put up these episodes, we've been doing this for a couple of years, 3 years on a program called Acast, which has been done like since 2022, like early May of 2022, and then this one on YouTube we've done since August of 2023. So yeah, I've been doing these for a long time, and we finally reached the end. So yeah, if everybody
Of the
likes
Fox Run.
of the Fox Run, if everybody likes talking Futurama, please like and subscribe, and yeah, don't forget to comment. Um, yeah, let's get into it, man. Last episode, I can't believe it. See you on some other channel. The opening caption, which is kind of, they knew they were getting canceled. They knew they were finishing, so they do it this way. Now, before we get into the episode, this episode, right, is directed by the guy who basically does all of the finales. Correct? Like this is the first one he did.
Let me see.
What's
I
his
don't
name
think
again?
he
Is it
directed it.
or
He
wrote it?
wrote it.
Maybe. Yeah. What was
Ken
his
Keeler.
Keeler? Correct. Yeah, Ken Keeler.
Yeah.
Who? Yeah, he's done all the finales, including like even the final movie, the final two of the final Comedy Central run
Well,
episodes,
the,
right?
fir-
And
the first
then
one
the Hulu.
technically
Yeah.
wasn't a series finale.
Mhm.
They didn't know if they were being renewed or not, and then
That's right. But he
they
still
did.
wrote
Yeah.
that one, right? Yeah. So
Yep.
that's interesting. But yeah, let's get into the episode here. So we open on Bender and Fry's apartments, right? Or apartment rather. What's it called? Robot Arms Apartments. And Bender is woken up to the sound of the holophone, right? We haven't heard of the holophone since I think Parasite's Lost, because Fry
Yeah.
makes mention of this. And it
Yeah.
turns
I
out
was
that,
going to mention
yeah,
they don't really ever kind of acknowledge other episodes, kind of like
not as
that.
much. Yeah.
Yeah,
This
like
one
like like
specifically talks about it. Yeah.
yeah, continuity. For instance, Cubert,
Mhm.
he is now a character, and it's not like so he's just kind of established.
Yeah.
But like things like they don't specify. Oh, remember that one planet that we went to that had three suns, like the third episode.
Right. Yeah. They don't really
They
talk about that.
never, yeah, they
Yeah.
don't talk about that stuff. So
Mind you, we
this
do see
is,
that alien. We do see an
well,
alien
yeah,
from
yeah.
that species, right? Or from that
That's
world.
a little
So that's
different,
kind
but
of
they
fun.
never
Yeah.
really like acknowledge past stuff. Like there's
No.
very rare
Yeah.
occasions where they acknowledge past things.
Well, I would say the thing that they always reference is when they go to the past, like literally go to the past, and they go to Roswell, because they always talk about Fry sleeping with his grandmother. At least the professor always does.
A few times, yes.
Yeah. So that is always that's always mentioned, and then yeah, this time we get mention of the parasites, right? Because so Fry's playing said holophoner. And of course, just to remind everybody, the holophoner is this instrument that is very similar to like a flute or a clarinet, and it makes beautiful music if you know how to play it well, but it also makes holograms, hence the term holophoner. So it can make like whatever you're imagining or whatever you're playing kind of
Yeah,
creates some kind of picture related to it, which is kind of cool. It gives like
I
pictures
was
as you watch. Yeah.
I was gonna ask you your head canon on how this thing worked or not, right? Because
Yeah, it's
throughout the episode we
magic.
see Fry play it as well as some kids play it too,
Mhm, mhm.
and kind of thing because it projects onto, I don't know, we'll say just like a sheet of air kind of
In
thing,
the air. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It makes a
But
hologram in the air. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
during the episode, during the concert, it's also projecting on human beings
That's right.
and like a
And
costume.
he does the
And
whole thing. Like he's actually
yeah,
creating all of it. Like it's not several holophoners. It's one holophoner. It's Fry making costumes and the displays and all these kinds of
he's
things. Right?
basically
Yeah.
rendering in time what's
Yeah.
happening, which
Yeah.
is an
With the
impossible
music.
thing to do.
Yeah.
Well, not impossible. They're getting better at it now for like CGI stuff, but
Mhm.
still, it's coming from a
Crazy.
flute,
Yeah.
clarinet, a
So
phoner.
I mean, okay, headcanon of how this thing works. I'm gonna say it's what you're playing, and then I guess it's the I don't know, maybe the
Intention.
emotional connection you have with whatever you're playing, because every time he plays it, and we even saw this a little bit in Parasite's Lost, at the very end when he's learning to play the holophoner correctly, like with his little book, he slowly puts together like a lila head, right,
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
end. So I think it's like it's what you imagine, it's your feelings towards it, and then the music is kind of
I wouldn't
creating
say
that with it.
feelings. I'd say maybe intention or something like that. Because
Isn't that a
like
feeling? Isn't your
no, because
attention?
well, just because when he's as we get into like the episode here,
Mhm.
uh, Bender says, "Hey, what you doing?" He's like, "I'm playing the holophoner. Remember when I could play it good?" He's like, "I
Right.
have a recital tomorrow, Bender. If you want to come." He's like, "Not often do I wish your parents were still alive," or something. I can't remember what he says, but just, "I
Do you
wish
want to
your parents
butcher?
were
Do you
still
want to
around."
butcher that one as well?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
what he says is, so as I continue, Fry admits that he's taking lessons, okay, and he has a teacher that he's been going to for a little while with this, and that's why he's kind of learning. But Bender says that he's not very good at it, but still wants to be his friend. Fry asks him to come to a recital, right, that he's doing for for his holophoner, and just Bender, only Bender knows this. Bender says something along the lines of, "Sometimes I wish that your real parents were still alive, but not often though." And then they hug. That's what it is.
Yes, sorry.
Yeah,
So then he goes to the recital, and there's other
yeah,
kids there, and we see the
yes.
kids play other things, and then we see Fry
Well, here,
play
hold
the
on.
Grumpy Snail.
You're getting
I
ahead of
know,
us.
but I'm
You're getting
trying to
ahead of us.
explain
Hold on.
because
We'll come to
no,
that
I'm
in a
not.
second. Let's get to it in a second. So fast forward then to the next day. Yes, Fry and Bender are going to said recital. Okay, because you have to set up the scene, right? We're getting in there. We're also introduced to his teacher, who is indeed only teaching children. So Fry's been taking music lessons from like a teacher who only deals with like young kids for the holophoner. And her name is Mrs. Mellinger. And this actually comes up a little bit later as well. So Mrs. Mellinger, and she's like this old lady, okay? And the first kid who's kind of shown at this recital or whatever, he's like this, nerdy kid or whatever, and he's playing like Beethoven.
Uh, that's Beethoven.
Okay, so he's playing him, and of course we get the holophoner showing like a beautiful image of Beethoven and some woman dancing upstairs and all this kind of stuff. Like it's a beautiful image, and everybody's quite pleased with his performance of the holophoner. Then we get to Fry. Okay, go ahead. Explain what is the situation here with
No,
Fry
I was
and
going
the
to say
holophoner.
the kid had like Beethoven going up the stairs with the thing, but also
Hmm.
there was a little video game reference from Mario and Donkey Kong, like the
Yeah,
first game
do
where
yeah,
they
with the
jump over the
barrel. Yeah,
barrel, right?
that's
So
right.
obviously that's a kid thing to put some kind of pop culture in there,
Mhm.
and this was like 2003, so honestly it should have been something from Halo, but whatever. But everyone knows the Donkey Kong Mario games.
But the stairs were also like part of the barrel thing, right? So maybe that's
Yeah,
why they
yeah,
did
yeah.
that. Yeah,
And then yeah,
that's fair.
Fry. So like Fry is not very good, so he's going to play the Grumpy Snail. And I
Mhm.
was looking somewhere just to see if this was a real song. No, it's
It's
not.
not. No, they made
It's
it for
just a
it because I think
Futurama thing.
because the snail kind of becomes part of Fry's whole thing with the holophoner, right? So yes, Fry plays yeah, a made up song or whatever called the Grumpy Snail, and it's basically as he starts it, but every time he does it,
That was terrible.
not as
Continue.
bad as
That's
him,
awesome.
not as bad as him, but as he does it, the snail is getting more and more morphed because his notes are wrong. So
Mutated,
something is
yeah.
changing the snail and making it, as one of the boys yells out, more
But
grumpy. But
yeah,
yeah,
but when Fry screws up, the
excuse me.
snail looks angry at him. So is
Yeah,
the
it kind of
holophoner?
knows. Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah? Are the illusions kind of semi
Sentient
sentient?
or something. So I think, oh, I
And
mean,
can and when it turns super angry and gets all vicious, could it attack the kids?
I think
Something like
so
that.
because it's just an illusion, not an illusion. It's a hologram because it's a hologram. It's not actually going to come alive. But I will say that when the snail kind of turns, I think because Fry's playing a song that is supposed to be correct in like Fry's mind and he knows he did it wrong, the snail knows that he did it wrong and turns around and like basically glares at Fry. So it's basically Fry's thought, Fry's emotional connection to the song or whatever you want to call it is like upset with him. So it's like he's upset with himself. So I think the snail is kind of representation of what Fry is supposed to be doing in the song. That's what I think it is. I mean, it's a very
Eh,
long-winded way of saying it, but I'm pretty sure that's what the holophoner is supposed to do. But it's just like the tubes in New York. It's very magical. It's just magic.
yeah, yeah.
It's just
I,
science we can't explain yet. Yeah.
I'd
So
really like to see what like the thought behind it is and stuff like that. Maybe it's like there's a special gas in there or something like that, some kind of material that can go with what your intentions are, but you have to play it correctly. And it
yeah.
doesn't matter how you play it; it just has to be played right. If that makes sense, you
Mhm.
can't play something you want to be good wrong, even if it's like bad.
That's
Yeah,
right.
just yeah.
Well, it seems like a holophoner, you can't really like jazz. You can kind of go off script and you can kind of do your own thing as long as it kind
You
of still
can't
fits within
dibble,
the, yeah.
dibble
You
dabble.
can't do that with a holophoner. It's a very, very prestigious, very classical kind of instrument, right? So yeah, it is kind of interesting. But in any case, as we alluded to, Fry screws up the grumpy snail, becomes very, very grumpy as the kids yell and scream in
Too
terror because
grumpy.
it's like mutating and all this kind of stuff. So Fry stops, and Mrs. Mellinger basically calls out Fry and to Bender, I guess, and she says, like, I can't teach you anymore. You are the worst. You have the worst hands, or whatever it is. And she basically kicks them out, and they leave angrily from the recital. So they go to the HQ, to the Planet Express HQ, and they're talking about the whole thing. And Fry admits, like, oh, I wish my hands were just so much better because I can hear this music, but I don't have the ability to actually play what I want, what I'm thinking. I'm not fast enough. So Leela arrives. Fry, hides the holophoner. He doesn't want her to know about this. And they talk about like going to a concert, and Leela's like kind of smitten by that. She loves music. And we get a mention of,
First
what's his
time
name
we've
again?
heard it. And
Sean. Yeah.
Sean.
Sean
Yeah,
for a
first time
while.
we've heard Leela talk about music in a long time.
Yeah. And about Sean in a
Oh, I
long
love
time,
music.
right? So, yeah.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons that they had broken up, or I guess the reason they had finally broken up, is because apparently he was sleeping around or whatever, but he was playing music naked in
Yeah,
other people's
yeah,
apartments.
I've
Yeah.
loved listening to him play music naked on my couch,
Yeah.
but then I found other couch fibers on his butt.
On his
But
butt.
I
Yeah.
tell you what,
Yeah.
but I do love it as she describes him. Yeah, he was uneducated, hunchbacked, had a weird
Hunchback.
lazy eye,
Yeah.
and then we hear Fry underneath of it as "pretty boy"
Oh,
or
pretty
something
boy.
like that.
Like, how ugly is Fry?
Well, it's his jealousy.
That's true. That's true.
They're
Yeah.
going back into this episode saying like, "Hey, remember that Fry likes Leela?" So
That's true. Yeah, they're kind of bringing all that back to the forefront, right? Because we haven't really seen that since we had the Bender trilogy, and then even before that, like episodes didn't really deal with the Fry Leela connection as much, right? So
no, I think maybe Spanish Fry. No, no, I
no,
don't know what that
not
would have
even
been.
that. Yeah, they do talk about romance
Oh,
in
the
that one.
Farnsworth parabox, because that would have been like the last
Yes,
time because we
that's
saw the
right. That's
other
right. Yeah,
universe B's
yeah.
Fry and Leela get
Nope,
together.
you keep saying that. It's Universe One, Universe One, Universe
I don't
A,
know.
and Universe
It
One.
just feels more like a B to me.
I like the fighting mongooses. So, any case, here Leela storms off, thinking about Sean, all this stuff, muttering to herself, and Fry gets upset because he says, "Oh, I could be that guy who's like
That should be my
beautiful
beautiful butt.
soul, yeah, beautiful soul playing on her
Oh,
couch or
sorry.
whatever." But as they're talking about this, Bender makes mention like, well, maybe there's a way you can do this. Maybe you could, quote unquote, make a deal with the devil. And then he goes on to say, like, actually, you can make a literal deal with the literal robot devil. So get your coat. We're going to go back to robot hell. And yeah, this is the fun time. We get to actually go back to seeing robot hell, right? We cut right back to it. All these
Ba-dum, bum,
robots being
bum, bum,
tortured, all
bum,
this stuff.
ba-dum.
And we have the robot devil played by Dan Castellaneta again, right? Having returned. Love this character.
No.
Yes, Dan Castellaneta playing the robot devil.
All right, right. This is the one guy I keep mixing up and thing as Dan Herman.
No, Dan Castellaneta is
Not
Homer
Dan Herman.
Simpson. So he's the guest star, right?
Yeah.
So Homer Simpson is playing the robot devil for those of you who don't know. But yes. So he's playing music, and yes, he's playing his what's that song? Cigars are evil, you won't miss them, like that beat from the
Yeah.
very first one we saw,
His
right?
Welcome to Hell
Yes, the
song
Welcome
from
to Hell
like the
song.
fifth episode or something
And
like
he's mocking one of his one of his performers or whatever for being late on a cue or something. Any case, here we have Bender and Fry show up down like the slide that usually comes there, slide to hell or whatever, slide to hell. And the devil says like, are you here for more torture or whatever? And they're like, no, we're actually here to try and make a deal. Fry wants to get better hands, or he wants to be able to play music very well without practicing a lot, right? Like the Fry cheating way, if you will, where Fry says he never cheats, but whatever. Here we go.
that. I mean, it's not really cheating, but it is not
It's
fair play.
it's
What I
not
would say.
fair. It's definitely
Yeah,
not fair.
but it's not cheating though. But
I
but he
disagree.
did cheat. He did cheat when he did the race when they with him and his old girlfriend Michelle. We thought they were in the future,
Oh yeah,
and
and he like
he cheated. It
steals
was
the thing
in
away.
that death race or
The
whatever it
death
was.
race with
Yeah,
skateboarding or whatever. Sure.
yeah.
And then didn't he also he didn't. I guess he didn't really cheat when they were playing the video game, and he was like really good at it or something. But in any case,
Yeah, he was just being a bit of a dick.
he was just a dick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're bringing in a Hulu run here. We
Mhm.
can't let the Hulu run tarnish this stuff.
Agreed. Agreed. But I know Fry cheats in an episode. I'm going to prove this right. So, any case, as they're down there and they're explaining they want something to do so, the robot devil said, like, okay, yeah, I can offer you a deal. What if you could have better hands? Because he mentions, and this is why I brought it up earlier,
I
he
do
once
love
had a
this.
music teacher named Mrs. Mellinger. So it turns out Mrs. Mellinger taught the robot devil also how to play instruments, or at least had something to do with like his fiddle work or something. So Fry and the robot devil apparently had the same teacher. I don't know if this is like a side little joke that they had because it's never mentioned again, but it's just
Well,
funny they
it's
use
just
the
because
same
she's
name.
super old.
Right.
Like you have what my old music teacher, Mrs. Mellinger,
Just said
called
stupid
stupid fingers.
fingers. So, and then he says like something along the lines of, if with those hands you could like you'd be lucky to master a belt buckle or something, and Fry's pants
And his pants
falling
fall
down. So in any case, he says, well, maybe I can offer you robot hands. Right. And Fry's like, oh, okay. Like, at first he thinks it's a joke, but then he's like, okay, maybe you can offer a deal. So the robot devil says, okay, yeah, sign your contract, and I will spin this giant wheel that just happens to be behind him. And this giant wheel has basically, and I've for fun, I kind of freeze framed a few times just to see if I could recognize some of the robots on there. And they actually do use robots that we've seen in the show before, like
Yeah,
tons and tons and tons of them, like all the names.
they have a list of them on the
Oh,
infosphere.org. There's
I
a
bet
lot
they
of them
do.
there.
One I actually saw, and I wouldn't have known this unless you hadn't brought this up, Mitchell. So from the episode Obsoletely Fabulous, right?
Yep.
Lisa, the water turner robot one, that was her name, right? She was on that
Yes,
wheel as
she's there.
well.
Yeah,
And I was
it's
like,
not in
who?
alphabetical order, so
Yeah,
I can't. I can't look at
I wouldn't have known who Lisa was. I was like, who the hell Lisa would be? But now I'm like, oh, now I know who Lisa
it.
is.
From The Simpsons.
Well, at first I probably would have thought that was a joke, right? Because of course, yeah, Dan Castellaneta's Homer. But yeah, just thought that was kind of a funny thing. So in
I
any
got
case,
$100 on rectal examine bot.
Examiner bot or something. So Bender's already taking bets for it. But yes, they have like I don't know, we'll say 1,000 names or 150 names, whatever it is on this wheel. And Ben
Every
can
robot ever, but you can't
basically
do that
you
because
can't tell. Yeah,
that's like millions of robots.
exactly. So Robot Devil says, I will spin this and you will randomly get the hands of whichever robot lands on, that it lands on. And Fry says, okay, well, what are my chances, right? Anything better than my own hands, so he takes the deal. So Robot Devil gets him to sign the contract. He spins the wheel, and we get a nice little view of like a few of these things. Quite fast, but if you freeze frame, you can kind of read some, similar names or whatever. Any case, as it's slowing down, we then come to see, oh, it's going to land on Bender. Okay. And we're like, oh, okay, so Bender and Fry are going to switch hands. That'll be good. However, it goes one step further and it lands on the robot devil itself, right? Or himself. So Robot Devil's like surprised. He's like, oh my God, the chances of that are like, 1 in 1 billion or whatever it was. So he, deal is a deal. So he has to cut off his own hands and replace them with Fry's hands and so on and so forth. Hence the name of the episode. Yes.
I would like to see it in actual, like, this is where you could use the what if machine to
Hmm.
do some fun bit. What if Fry actually swapped hands with Bender instead of the robot devil? Would it have gone as well?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe he would have been. Maybe they could have done the thing where he became more of a pickpocketer rather than a holophoner.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe. I mean, because yeah, Bender's hands typically do something like that as well. Or you could have had it where I don't know, maybe another character had to switch hands with the robot devil and what they would have done with his hands or something, right? And then maybe it would
Yeah,
have been
yeah.
something different. But yeah, you're right. There's a lot of what if possibilities for sure. But from that whole thing, Fry gets the robot devil's hands, and because of that, he's now able to do anything the robot devil can do. Because I guess the devil's hands are, for lack of a better term, magical, right? So he
Yeah.
switches the two hands. So Robot Devil, is not very happy with Fry's hands, a human, and
How'd you do
Fry can
that?
now
They're
go.
very good hands.
So later, Fry is back at the Planet Express headquarters, and he's tells everybody like, I'm back from Robot Hell, and I've got the devil's hands. Now I can do all these things. Amy asks for a trick, and so Bender Fry does a little thing with Bender where he takes him apart really quickly and does a magical little juggling situation with him. And Scruffy comes in, announces that the robot devil is there and wants to see Fry. So Fry comes up, and Robot Devil is clearly not happy with their deal. He's like, I don't like your hands. They're touching me and they're gross and all this kind of stuff. But Fry states, nope, a deal is a deal. I'm not going to change my hands because I need these hands for, impressing Leela kind of thing. So Robot Devil is pissed off about it, but he leaves. So we then begin a montage of Fry with the holophoner being basically the best of the best. He's able to play the Grumpy Snail perfectly. He can play the Beethoven music perfectly. He's even able to riff in a way that he can bring said snail into the Beethoven thing and basically take over the dancing of the lady or whatever. And I guess the
Yeah, that was
snail,
funny.
yeah, the snail kind of becomes his mascot. Like that's like the first song that he ever became famous for. And Fry basically becomes like a holophoner celebrity. He goes to like concerts. People are paying to see his shows. He's selling albums, all this kind of stuff. Fry's becoming famous.
Kind of like
So
whoever like the right now musician is. I couldn't even tell you
could
who that
be.
is right
Well,
now.
it could be like a class. Imagine like an a classical musician, whereas like a good amount of people who know the musician, who like the classical music, whatever, they would go and see their concert. Something like
Like Hans Zimmer, and
sure.
that's the one I can come up with.
Yeah, I mean, like John Williams. I mean, imagine somebody comes on there and they just
Yes,
have all
John
this music
Williams.
and they just want to see this person perform. Because if you ever see classical performers, like I know you have, Mitchell, having also been in multiple bands in your life as well. When you see,
Like high school band.
still though,
None of the hair bands or nothing cool
no.
like
I mean,
that.
like that's what I said, like a classical band, like a concert band, right? When you see those performers, they
Mhm.
are crazy. They go right into it. I remember seeing a pianist, and he was like sweating. He had to like take breaks to like wipe his brow as he's like continuously playing and everything. Like it's incredible. It's incredible what they can do.
There's a lot of power behind those people, and they don't get much recognition. But yeah, there's a lot of work that goes into being a classical and or jazz musician
Yes,
for that kind of stuff. It's not a lot
absolutely.
of star power for those people, for regular like music listeners.
It's like any like like athlete or anything like that when they have to work at their craft a lot. Like
Yeah,
this is a long time, right? Like you spend hours and hours here, or you hear people spend hours and hours playing like the piano and their instruments, all this kind of stuff. Like there's when they put on a concert, like it's a big
dedication.
thing. Yeah, the dedication for it is incredible.
Oh yeah,
So, any case, now Scruffy is, I mean, he should be already, but he's well aware of who Fry is now, and he's now basically announcing people to come into the HQ. So, Fry's become famous enough, but he still works for the Planet Express. I don't know why exactly. He still wears the same clothes. He's not richer or anything. He just kind of hangs out there now, or he works a little bit like sometimes, I
but
guess.
Anthony, he was selling a 2-disc,
Yeah, for $8. What a
$8.99.
deal!
What a
I'll
deal!
buy
I'll
eight.
take 10.
Yeah,
Yeah, Zoidberg has a couple good lines. He
Zoidberg
actually
has.
has one of my favorite memes
I was gonna say, I
from
think
him.
Zoidberg probably has maybe three. He maybe speaks four times, but out of the four times he speaks, three of them are like pretty classic.
Precious. Yeah.
So, any case, Scruffy announces to Fry that Hedonism Bot, again, somebody we haven't seen in a little while, he's here and he wants Hedonism Bot, wants Fry to write an opera. Okay. Now, Fry says he doesn't really know what to do with that and he doesn't know what he would write about or anything, but then he takes a look and we have Leela, who's sitting in the corner. Now, this is interesting as well. Also, a Hulu run reference, but like I'm going to make the reference because it's not that thing for the scene because it was so early. But Leela's in the corner, basically like the most unsexy type of person that she could be at
No,
that
no.
time.
W-
She's leaning back at the table, boots up, and like grease all over her face or whatever, and she's eating a bugalo leg, right? Kind of
Wing,
like chicken leg or
basically
whatever.
like, like a thing of hot wings, and it's
Yeah,
just everywhere,
yeah,
right?
everywhere.
You are right. That is one of the most unsexiest foods there are to eat.
Mhm.
Is like heavily sauced
And how
chicken
she's
wings.
eating it is just like, like
Yeah,
so
they're
yeah,
giant bugs. So like it's
yeah,
like literally like the size of like someone's arm, we'll say, and she's like eating
and
that.
she's eating it like that, right? And it's
I do
funny,
love this joke
yeah,
because it's like his beautiful love. It's like I know who I'll write about,
yeah.
and then it pans over to her being
So Fry's like, I will write an opera if I can write it about Leela, and Leela's like she stops eating for a second. She's like, "Oh, I'm so touched," kind of thing. And the hedonism bot says, "Okay, go for it." I mean, like,
an opera about a woman. Oh,
right? I love hedonism bot. So he's like, "Oh, see you at the premiere," and he walks away. So later at
he's a
night,
very weird designed robot.
he is. Well, he's a sofa, like a Greek sofa chair thing, right, with the head and everything, with the arms, and basically
But the
anything
arms are at the top of the chair, and he has four legs that act like the leg chair.
legs
So
of the
it's very
sofa, right?
weird.
It's well, he's basically like I don't know, like
He's
it's a
permanently
sexual
sitting
thing,
down, basically.
permanently sitting down, but also like any of these legs or extremities or whatever can always be touching something or doing something to other people, and they can be on top of him while he does it, right? Like it's a very sexual chair of a robot. That's what he is. Hence the term
I
he's a
guess.
bot, right? So later at night, Leela is fixing or tinkering with the ship or whatever, and she hears holophoner music. So she goes upstairs, and on the roof, Fry is writing, I guess, like the ending portion of his opera or like a
Yeah,
portion of his
music
opera or
sheet.
whatever on a music sheet. Yeah, and she can kind of see a little bit of what he's doing. But when she announces it, Fry tells her like, "Oh, I don't want you listening to me because I want you to hear it all when it's complete." Okay, and she says, "Okay, that's probably okay," and everything. And then we also get like a little yell from the robot devil. So the robot devil has been basically following Fry around and like begging him
Badgering him. Yeah.
for his hands back, like the entire episode.
He really
And
wants his hands back.
he wants his hands back. So in the HQ the next day or whenever this takes place, Bender is Bender is going to the fridge, and the robot devil bursts out of the fridge and scares him. Whatever, not a big thing. But he says to Bender, like, "Listen, I'm sick of these hands. I want to trade you for maybe your hands." And Bender says, like, "Okay, I don't. First of all, I don't do deals with you or whatever unless it's something I can tempt with something he wants," which he does say. But he says, "No, I will not part with my hands." And he, names it. What does he say? Like squishy and grabby or something, or squeezy and grabby, something like this.
Something like that, yeah.
So Bender says, "I won't part with my hands." So the robot devil says, like, "Okay, well, what do you want, Bender? And then maybe I can switch you for something else," because he doesn't want Fry's hands. And he says, like, "Oh, maybe I'd like to be more annoying." So robot devil says, "Okay, sure." So he switches off and he gives a carousel air horn type of thing.
Yeah, like a
Air horn
Blair
that would
horn,
be,
whatever.
yeah,
Mega
that
a
he,
mega horn.
you're right. That he basically fuses to Bender's face. Okay, so it's like he has a giant nose now with like a horn thing to it, right? Like one of those like microphone thing, or not microphone. What are those called? Megaphones. So something
Megaphones,
like
yeah.
this. So he says like, "Okay, now you can be more, more annoying to somebody else, whoever
But
you see."
what did it cost Bender though?
Cost him his. So I should forgot what the term was because it was like the real technical term for his ass. It's like his
Ass plate?
no, they don't say ass. I know they say like bottom plate or can plate or something like that.
Crotch
Whatever it
plate.
is,
It was his crotch plate.
crotch plate. There, thank you. So basically, it's his robot ass. It's his shiny metal ass that he trades for some reason. So he tells Bender, "Okay, now you can go and be annoying to the first person you see." Now we cut over and we have Leela saying like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to go to the store. I'm going to pick out something nice to watch this opera that Fry's been writing about me." She opens the door and Bender screams this thing into her face, thus deafening Leela. Okay. She's heartbroken by it and she can't hear anything anymore. It sucks. And Bender's like, to be fair, he's actually kind of like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to like deafen you. I just wanted to be more annoying." And the robot devil says like, "Haha, you've fallen into my plan." And he keeps on making jokes about being ironic, and Bender keeps on correcting him. But I'm pretty sure the devil is actually making sense with irony. I think he's actually using it correctly, but Bender keeps on making corrections against him. Whatever the case, doesn't matter. Point is, Bender is upset, so he tries to blow it again, and it turns out it's just like one tube of aerosol. That's what it's called,
Aerosol, yeah.
aerosol that will actually blow in this horn, but it turns out to be out. So then Bender's going to go back to his like bite my shiny metal ass, but his ass is missing. So he's pissed off by this.
Oh no.
No. So the robot devil is now one quarter through his plan to get his hands back. Okay, so this is how forward thinking this guy is. Now, on the night of the opera, all are arriving to see Fry's show and all this kind of stuff. Now, remember, Leela is deaf, so they begin the opera. Leela, Orphan of the Stars. And it's basically about the life of how Fry has perceived or understood Leela's upbringing and everything. So our first scene is kind of understanding like her being dropped off at the orphanarium and they're singing and all this kind of stuff. And Fry is sitting on stage as the holophone.
Bottom right of the stage.
Bottom right of the stage, and there is like a pit with like the normal concert band, right? They're all
Yep.
there like supporting him with the music. But everything that is visually displayed is all coming from Fry. So all these people who are like, we'll say, dressing up in the costumes and all this kind of stuff, that's all coming from the holophoner. So it has the ability to basically surround people and project them into this into this field of whatever hologram it is. It works quite wondrous if you're very good at playing the holophoner, as Fry has become. So at the act break, okay, because they've gone through a little bit of this, at the act break, Leela, who's, sad that she's or she's more than sad, she's devastated, she can't hear any of this because she's deaf. She's walking
I do
around.
like this.
Yeah, she's walking around. And it turns out the robot devil is working as a coat check guy. So he hears her say this. Now, of course, she can't hear him, but he can kind of like, describe or gesture with his hands, with Fry's hands, like how he wants, like, I'll give you ears if you give me your hands. And she says, no, I won't give you my hands, robot devil. And then he says, okay, one hand for your ears. I will give you ears for one hand. And she repeats it, making sure that she understands it. And he nods, all this stuff. And she says, oh, okay, maybe I can do that. So he says, great, here's a contract. She signs said contract. Now, Calculon walks over. He taps him on the shoulder, whatever, says, Calculon, I'm going to need your ears now, whatever. And it turns out that the robot devil is the reason that Calculon is a actor in the first place, which is also kind of funny because in the Comedy Central run, it turns out that the robot devil absolutely despises Calculon. Despises Calculon's acting skills. So it's kind of a funny little joke there. But in any case, he takes Calculon's antennas and he puts them into Leela's ears, like just sticks them in, and voila, she can now start to hear again. So she says, like, oh, I can hear, this is wonderful. But the robot devil doesn't take her hand. So she says, like, oh, aren't you going to take it? And he says, no, you go ahead, you go enjoy your opera, we'll get it later. And she looks a little suspicious at him, but she says, okay, that's good, because, that's about to begin. So during the second part, okay, opera shows Fry's version of the events of how he got the robot devil's hands, okay? And we get this nice little, singing of like, I'm stupid, I'm stupid, I'm stupider than you, which is the robot devil singing towards, the Fry character in his opera. The robot devil, of course, is watching from the stage or from one of the higher up areas, and he's like, oh, he's not okay with this. Yeah.
Yeah, he looks grumpy and angry.
Thank you. Yes, he's very
insulted.
Angry.
He's insulted by it.
He's insulted. So robot devil jumps down, knocks the guy or whatever out of the way, and basically interrupts the entire opera. And the robot devil makes a very good comment about when you were writing, you can't have your characters announce how they're feeling. And then he says, that makes me feel angry. So this is, I love the joke, but it's very true. You should never announce how characters are feeling in something. Their actions should be showing this, obviously, in typical writing fashion, especially for stories. So this is probably one of the most classical scenes of this entire episode, and we can go into it a little bit later if you want. During this, so the opera is interrupted, the robot devil's on stage, and everybody's stopped, and they're all like, wondering what's going on. And Fry asks him, what do you want? And robot devil begins the finale of this opera thing as a singing situation. I want my hands back, which begins him singing it. Okay. So he wants his hands back. Fry states in his singing as well, deal is a deal. They bring on stage Leela, and he says, like, okay, then I will just take what I want from Leela. Okay. And it turns out that the one hand that he had been dealt or had made a deal with her turns out to be a hand in marriage, which was a little fine print that was on said contract, which they had shown in here. She wasn't aware of this. She didn't mean to sign it, but alas, she has. And so therefore she must marry the robot devil. Now, the robot devil says, or sings, I should say, he will marry her and keep her confined in hell unless Fry will give up the robot devil's hands and give them back to him.
My hands.
Fry's in a conundrum, obviously, because he says, like, well, I need these hands in order to write the opera that is captivating Leela. However, with Leela married to the robot devil, I can't be with Leela anyway. So,
yeah, and if she marries him, he probably won't want me dating her.
So he says, fine, take my hands, you evil metal dork. Right. Because they got the preacher on there as well, in like state of New York or whatever. It rhymes. It's fine.
Yeah.
And at the very end, the robot devil laughs and cuts off Fry's hands.
And then the lights cut to black.
Yes.
And like all dramatic, like super dramatic. Yeah. I freaking love it. And then we got the hedonism bot going, surgery. in an
In an
opera,
opera?
how decadent or
Yeah.
whatever. I can't remember. It's such
Delicious.
funny
Yeah,
things.
whatever he says, right? Don't eat more chocolate frosting or whatever. And he was like losing interest or something. So, in any case, of course, I've butchered this scene in terms of speaking it, but I want people to understand like how beautifully crafted this scene is because it's like the music and all that kind of stuff is really, really well put together. And of
Yeah,
course, Dan
the lyrics,
Castellaneta, as well as Katie Seagal.
Billy West, and
And
Casey.
Billy West, for the most, he's not a bad singer, but he's definitely not as good as those
I
two.
think he was in a hip band too, but
He
I
probably
think it was
was.
more
He
of a
probably was.
comedy
But
band. I
Castellaneta
think I
and
remember
yeah.
when he was on stage talking. He talked about that he'd do impersonations of like Dolly Parton and
Oh,
other
sure.
people
Okay.
too
Yeah,
during intermissions.
I can see that. And Fry, yeah, Fry's actor is pretty good with singing, but I would say Seagal and Castellaneta are trained professionals. Like they're beautiful singers. So, any case, he gives up the hands. He switches. Robot Devil switches them back onto Fry, and Fry is upset because now he can't play anymore. And the Robot Devil's happy because his plan came to fruition. So he steals Nixon, and he's like, "I'm going to go play poker" because he feels lucky, and he disappears and he runs away. Okay, so afterwards, everybody's saying like, "Well, you now need to finish your opera, Fry. Like, we have to see the ending." And Fry's like, "I can't play anymore." This is one of Zoidberg's other really good lines, of course, right? So, what is the line, Mitchell? Go ahead, because I know you want to say it.
No, this wasn't until after Fry screwed up.
No, no, it's beforehand. So he says, "What does he say to give him the confidence to do it?" What does he say?
I don't remember that part, but you go ahead and say it.
Fine. So he says, "The music was in your heart all along. You can play it." Okay. To which then Fry sits down
Starts
and he's like,
playing.
starts playing, and of course he sucks, ruins the whole thing, and is destroying everything. The mascots look bad. Everything looks
Oh,
bad.
I love the mascots because honestly, it looks like something that I would have put together like when I
Right.
was 5. Because
Exactly.
they're supposed to be costumes, right? But the way it's
They
played
look,
now, they look like
yeah,
cardboard cutouts that don't even fit
yeah,
right. Like a
yeah.
T-shirt doesn't look like it would fit on a person.
Yeah. So it looks crappy. Everything sounds bad. People start throwing things at him. And then Zoidberg says,
Your music is bad, and you should feel bad.
there you go. So this is what one of the second lines of that Zoidberg says is that's wonderful in the episode. So everybody storms out. They're all done, and obviously we had Tinny Tim had shown up in the episode briefly as the newspaper person, which we had mentioned a couple episodes ago or an episode ago or
Extra,
something.
extra. Read all
The
about
extra,
it.
extra, greatest opera. It turns out it sucks, and then Zoidberg buys like 8 more or something.
Yeah, I don't know why that was a thing with him this episode of just being a crafty consumer or something like
I
that.
think he just because he wants to be rich and he's like just part of it, so he just thinks he can do that. And then this is just a joke on that album thing, right? Because it's like 2 CDs for the price of 1. He's like, oh, I'll be a crafty consumer and I'll buy 8, something like this.
Let me just see here.
So everybody leaves
Yeah.
the opera house, and Fry's sitting on a chair by himself, and he's holding the holophoner. He puts it down, and he walks away sadly. But then, out of the audience, one person's left, Leela, who says, "Don't stop, Fry. I want to hear how it ends." So Fry feels a little bit better, and he comes back, and as well as he can, he puts together one more little image with the holophoner playing the ending theme, which we kind of heard when Leela was hearing it, like the first night. And it turns out to be making Fry and Leela holding hands, kissing, being together, and walking away together into the sunlight or into the sunset or something. But of course, very crude, like it's like cartoony in the sake of cartoony. Okay.
Yeah.
And as it finishes off, we get the little musical cue that we heard, and then it goes to black, and that's it. That is the devil's hands or idle playthings. So, I mean, great episode. Great episode. Like it has to. It's definitely top 3 for the season. How would you rank it? Would you put it up that high as well? Well, I mean,
I'd
like
probably
off the
put
top
it.
of your head now, like you'd say it's a very good episode, correct?
Oh yeah, it's one of the best episodes that they had for the Fox run, just because it's
Even then,
accumulation of
yeah,
all the things too.
that's true.
Fry with the Parasites episode,
Yep.
just any kind of episode that was kind of a
Roswell that
Lee and
ends.
Fry,
Roswell that
yeah,
ends
Fry and
well. Where they
Leela
go back in
episode,
time. Yep. Fry and Leela episodes. Yep.
and
Mhm. And then this one, classic episode. Yeah.
but in terms for this season, I think this might be my favorite.
There you
Yeah, it might be a toss up though because I did love the Farnsworth Parabox. I did like Jurassic Park, not as much,
go.
but it's still good. And then Less Than Hero, which I think
Right.
you and I say is one of our
One of our
favorites. You
favorites.
and I love superheroes.
Yeah,
It's just
exactly.
we do,
And it
and it
mocks
was
so
just a
much
funny
of
take on it.
and it mocks so much of like those old classic 19 like the Batman series from like the 1960s
Yeah,
and something, right? Yeah, no, this episode yeah, is probably my favorite like a top favorite for me for sure in the original run. And
The
even
Wyatt
with the new
Fry. Yeah.
episodes, I think it still holds up as one of the best ones as well. And also because you and
Oh
I
yeah,
discussed this beforehand with the finales, like meanwhile, I still think takes the cake for me for the best finale of a Futurama series.
most recent one. That's why.
Well, it's not the most recent. The most recent one was the Hulu one.
Oh right, the Down
Yeah, I'm
Again or
talking about
whatever
the
it was
Comedy
called.
Central one. The Meanwhile, when they
Yeah,
stop time, that one's my favorite.
we already knew that was going to get another season for Hulu, so I never counted that as a series finale. It's still a good
Oh,
episode, but not as good
but
as
it's
people
still
praise it
technically
to
a
be.
series finale. But no, I know what you mean. Okay, fair enough. But in
It
terms
was
of
written
this
by
one, this
Ken
is
Keeler,
my
which is the
yeah,
theme for all those. He
that's right.
wrote all of like
The
the
finale
series
episodes,
finale.
yeah, as I mentioned.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd say this one is probably my second favorite of the finale episodes. But yeah, it's a really high ranking episode for me.
You know, I have to rewatch them all again. Like I still think this is probably the best solid one. There's other ones that do a little better.
I'd still
The
say
movie
Meanwhile is
counts
a better
too.
episode,
Like,
but
do we
even the
count the
Beyond the Wild Green
whole
Yonder is
movie?
great. But yeah, no, I don't count the whole
I did.
movie. No, the last
Yeah,
act, I would say,
yeah.
because the beginning of the last movie has nothing to do with the end of the last movie, except for like the alien looking for the species that like will give like the dark one and all this kind of stuff, right? That's an overlying thing, but the beginning of the movie has nothing to do with the end of the movie. But okay,
Not really, I guess.
let's talk a little bit about then our favorite scenes, jokes,
Oh well,
MVP.
obviously the whole opera, especially
That
after
is absolutely my
the
favorite
robot
scene as
devil
well. Yeah,
interrupted.
yeah,
Yeah,
the
I
music,
still love that. You
beautiful,
can't have your characters announce how they feel. That makes me feel so
angry.
angry.
That is one of mine as well.
I also do like just Zoidberg being there. It's like at the beginning of the opera when like Fry pops out, he's like, "I watch TV with that guy,"
Right.
and then the whole like, yeah, play what's in your heart, make it feel good,
Yeah.
and then your music's bad and you should feel
Feel
bad.
bad, which
I
you
do
and I have
love that.
used multiple times with different
Yeah,
things, right? Like that is bad and you should feel bad, right?
no, I do like that. But
Um,
let me see
I
here.
I like when they're also like so everybody is singing, including like our other characters in the audience, and then of course
All
they're
right,
singing back
yeah,
and forth. And Zoidberg
this
has what
can't
is
be real.
not if Leela is engaged, right? Like this can't be real. Not if Leela is engaged, and that's Amy obviously being
Yeah,
jealous of
just
her.
another little like
Catty
yeah, it's one of
remark
those
there,
catty
yeah.
remarks, which they
And
do
then
establish in a future episode.
yeah, exactly. And then when the professor and Zoidberg are there, he's like, "I can't believe the devil's so unforgiving." And then Zoidberg's like, "I can't believe everybody's just ad-libbing."
I
Right?
do like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't believe everybody's just making it up on the spot. It's pretty funny. So no, I thought it's a very good scene. One of the best written scenes, the whole thing.
Oh, there's another thing that's kind of a lore, a very
Mhm.
very small piece of lore. So
Yeah,
if you remember the first episode of Futurama when Leela's trying to give him
yes.
a career chip,
I'm glad you
and
remember
it's
that.
like
Yeah,
you got to do what you got to do, and then they show that
just the
poster,
poster. Yep, yep.
poster of the guy with a thumbs up, looking sad,
But
kind of
it's
thing.
sad. Yeah,
I do love how they have a cue card for people who don't know hand sign language, and so during the opera,
yep,
before the devil interrupts,
yep.
um,
And
Fry's
before Leela
playing
gets her new hearing back
after,
from
yeah, and
Calculon, right?
yes,
Before that,
yes,
right? So she's
before
still
that.
deaf. Yep, yep.
She's still deaf. And so Fry's looking at Leela, and Leela's like, "Oh crap, Amy, Fry's looking at me. How should I feel?" And she holds up like a little cue card,
Yep.
and it's the guy looking sad, like the you got to do what you got to
What you
do.
gotta
So the
do,
guy
guy. Yep.
looking sad, and
Yep.
like it's out of a box, like so. There's obviously more of him in there.
Yep.
I would love to get an episode, a good episode,
Yep.
written about that guy because he seems to be kind of the face of that kind of
It's the face
world.
of
Like,
that company that
yeah,
makes those like posters and such, right? I
yeah,
actually I would love a
like how
physical
tos.
set. Yeah. I want a
Yeah,
physical set of like these cards in that poster or something and seeing
yeah,
like
that'd
what
be
it looks
fun.
like. That'd be cool. Yeah, and it's
But I
him
do like that little
like
joke. I
yeah,
do like that little joke of her showing a sad face. So then she looks
with
sad at
that
Fry,
guy.
and Fry's like,
Yeah.
"Thank you. Yes,
Yeah.
I hit that sad mark,"
Yeah, that's the
kind of
correct
thing.
emotion. Yeah.
It,
I just love that
there's a lot of stuff in this one.
they
It's
bring back
well written.
they bring back that guy from the very first episode, which is just so cool. Yeah. Yeah, it is very
It's
well
well
written. I
written,
agree. Yep.
and like we always have that the kind of theme like this is a well written and very jokey, or it's very jokey and not really
Not
kind of
well
like an
written,
overall
but
arcing thing.
yeah,
This one wasn't very
all
jokey. It
together.
was just written so well that the jokes kind of just flowed with it, rather than kind of like, oh, we need to have something funny happen here. Let's have
Yeah, they
Fry
kind of
play
play
a
a little bit more with it,
holophone.
right?
Weird.
if there was one critique I could say about this episode, I've made mention of it like when we're talking about the review of the episode or talking about the play by play of the episode, like the whole thing with like, oh, how deliciously ironic, and then Bender keeps on saying like that's not ironic, it's just coincidental, or that's not ironic,
Yeah,
it's just
it's
mean.
not, it's
It
quite
got a
not
little it
Bender.
got a little old, but then of course they do follow it up. The very final thing, Bender's little singing portion is like, huh, the use of using something other than its literal intention. Now that is irony. Like that is a definition of irony, but also other things that were being discussed in there were also forms of irony, right? Like the crotch plate being gone, and he can't say I like yeah kiss my metal ass or whatever it is, right? Or kiss my shiny metal ass, but or sorry, bite my shiny metal ass rather. So it's yeah, that got a little old for me, but I think the majority of the jokes are still on there. I love the um I don't know why it makes me laugh every time, but when we first enter or re-enter Robot Hell and they're playing like dun dun dun
Dun,
dun dun, dun,
dun,
dun,
dun, dun, dun,
and
dun.
then he's like, "You were like 2 years late on that note there, Doug." And then Doug, like the other
Looks
robot devil
sad.
thing, looks sad. So I thought that was I don't know why I just think that's so funny. But okay, how about your MVP?
Oh, it's got
I
to be Fry.
yours is Fry, mine's Robot
Yeah,
Devil.
yeah. Robot
Absolutely
Devil
Robot
was
Devil. Yeah.
definitely a close second, but Fry was definitely
So
my
why is
MVP
can I ask why is Fry the MVP? Besides the fact that he's like kind of running the episode, why do you think Fry really steals the show, so to speak?
because he tried so hard, and he's a musical boy, just like my inner me. We want to play beautiful music for the beautiful
Audience,
woman we're
the
attracted
girl.
to.
Oh, sure, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the girl. Yeah,
You want
yeah.
to impress the girl, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Fair enough.
Sadly, the trombone
That
is
didn't
not
work.
really
Yeah,
that sexy.
trombone's not very sexy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
I played the saxophone.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, the thing is, I think I looked this up a long time ago, just as a joke, I think,
Mhm.
because when you slide the slide into different positions, like yes, I know how to slide into many different positions, and you also have to lube up the thing to be nice. And I got many lubes. And it's
Wow,
just stupid stuff like that. I know how to toot, or so, I can't remember. There's just a couple things that are just like, okay,
right.
that's a funny sexy, but
That's a funny little thing there. Yeah, sure.
yeah, yeah.
No, fair enough. Yeah, no, I like I said, I'd go Robot Devil. I think when the first
Oh yeah,
time
he
we
was a
saw
close
him,
second.
yeah, when he was in oh, what's the first episode with him in called again? It's
Hell is for other
Hell is
robots.
for Other Robots. Thank you. That
Funny,
episode, I think I
it's a
also
funny thing,
made.
yeah.
Yeah, I think I made Robot Devil my MVP for that one as well. That way back when. That is, I mean, when he's
He
in
was
the
only in
show,
4 episodes
he
of
is.
the Fox
He
run.
is. Yeah, he absolutely is. And when he's in it, I love it. 4 episodes of the Fox run, maybe 3 episodes.
Hell is for the robots. A Tale of Two Santas.
He's in
Crimes of the Hawk.
prison. Oh, he shows
I
up.
think we
Right.
see him in the
Okay.
background
Right.
probably,
Okay. And he's
and then
voiced
the
by
Devil
somebody
Hands are
else
playing as
in the Santa one. Right. Okay.
yeah.
No, fair enough. I the ones that were he's voiced by Dan Castellaneta because I also love The Simpsons, classic Simpsons. But like he's wonderful. So yeah, Robot Devil and his delicious
Oh right,
evilness and all
right.
this kind of stuff. I love it. Yeah,
It was the Tale of Two Santas was when Bender got arrested,
yeah, yeah. And then he's in the jail.
and
He's
it
like, "Oh,
says
tell the
yeah,
Robot Devil I'm coming for him" or something. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
which that robot devil was Maurice LaMarche. It
That's
wasn't
right.
Dan Castellaneta.
I heard him. Yeah, that's right. Because he only has one line. They didn't get Homer for it. Yeah, I
Didn't
know.
quite sound the same, but it was close enough.
Yeah. So that was pretty funny. But yeah, I guess is there anything more to say? I will say as well, I love the beginning portion with Mrs. Mellinger and
I do like that too. Yeah.
like when they show up. So they're on Segways, which is like a kind of a big thing in the early 2000s as well. Like they're on like those little Segway two wheelie things, Fry and Bender, when they arrive at her house for the recital. So that was kind of a funny little joke that's super dated, but it was there. Then they go
I
into it,
mean,
and then she's introduced to Bender. She's like, "Oh, I hear you're a robot." He's like, "I prefer the term sex machine or love machine or whatever it was." And I thought that was good. And then at the end, when they're kicking, oh no, when the son, that other boy, is playing, and he does very well, and Bender like leans over to his mom and says, "So how hard did you say you had to hit him?" And she's like, "Oh, fairly hard."
fairly
Like
hard.
that was so good. So, and then of course at the end,
It's
and
kind of more
you know,
quippy, jokey at the
it
beginning
was,
bit,
it
right?
was.
Rather than masterly
Yeah, well,
quippy.
it's just one of those things. Like, wow, your boy does so well. How hard did you say you had to hit him? Like, as if it's like a common thing. She's like, oh, fairly hard. Like, it's just one of those. And then at the
Well,
end, when
I wasn't around too many prodigies, like, and stuff like that, but, like,
you
it
definitely weren't.
always was kind of those things like, "Why aren't you practicing? Why aren't you practicing?"
That's right,
And
that's
then you
right.
should
And well, that's
practice
the
and
whole
stuff.
point of the joke, right? It's like, "Oh, I had to hit him very hard
No.
to get him to this point," right? And at the end, when Mrs. Mellinger says, like, "I cannot teach your son," like, she says, like, to Bender as if he's the parent or something, like he's just the
I
word.
do love that, yeah.
And then he says, "Well, good day to you, madam," and then he leaves. He's like, "We will see you later for tea," or something, and, as Bender does
Posh.
whenever he wants to be like that, yeah. So, no, I thoroughly enjoy this episode, and it's, yeah, probably a 9 out of 10, honestly. Like, maybe a couple
Nine and a
things that
half.
maybe I would do that, but yeah, it's 9.5 out of 10. Like, it's phenomenal, and a very good finale for how the show ended, even though we were like, "Oh, I wish we had more of this," but any case, I guess that finishes off for The Devil's Hands Are Idle Playthings. Do you have anything else to add, Mitch?
Um, no, not. I mean, the episode is just it's good. Like I said, it's written well. Not a lot of jokes in it, which is fine, but like it's just written very very
Enough
well
jokes,
and
yeah.
it's good.
Yep, I agree.
No notes.
Yeah, no, me neither. And with that, I guess, geez, that's it. We finished the
The
original
Fox
Fox
run.
run. That's incredible. So what we'll do is next time we'll do one more conversation discussing the entire series. We'll do, or not the entire series, rather the entire Fox run of the series. We'll discuss like maybe our favorite episodes again, some fun things that popped up again. Some I've also, as I do, I've kept track of our MVPs. So maybe we can talk about like which character by
Yeah.
statistically is our favorite throughout the show or something like this. So that'd be kind of fun. But yeah, we'll see and hear everybody next time for our discussion of the Fox run. So yeah, thanks again, Mitchell, and we'll see you then.
Well, see you later, man. Toodaloo.
Toodaloo.